10:30 in the morning. I did start at 10:29, but I want to review the video that I captured while inside of my apartment in order to show you what the entity is doing based on moment by moment movement stalking with a fake sun, which is terrorism that the state is engaging in while it is group stalking you in concert with the people, and it is entirely demonic, and the entity is doing this in the workplace. And then you're seeing the people of the state engaging in criminal conduct while exercising fictitious authority while that criminal system is underway. And this is the significance of showing you that specific environment while the light source is hovering over me inside of apartment 1806 North Alvarado Street, after showing you what is no sun over the Glendale Boulevard Glen Oaks Boulevard DMV, while I'm reminding you about where I am nowhere near the property, but yet while I remain on the property at the same time, you're looking at two conflicting visions of what's the unnatural environment. In other words, that's how you're reconciling the conflict. It is literally the scientific impossibility, and I'm giving you nothing other than evidence of the scientific impossibility, which is literally the crime scene where federal group stalking and monitoring is occurring. And it's a criminal act committed by a government, and it is necessarily relying upon the criminal cooperative conduct and behavior and maintenance of elements of monitoring the people of the state. So the entity is at 10:29 in the morning. As I captured, turn that on. Sorry, I'm just adjusting the screen so I can see it. The fake sun is right over my head while I'm standing outside of my leasing office. It is to the left of my person, and it is not in alignment with my living room window. This is what I documented yesterday, if you'll recall.
6 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6. And again, you're remembering that not only is this impossible light activity, as you see.
So what is this telling you about? First of all, the entity's illusion is that, oh, that's the sun and that's sunlight. Okay, this is all asininity. I'm just pointing out what is the illusion that you are conditioned to accept. You don't question, you don't even pay attention to it. You probably have a lot going on, going to work every day, not even paying attention to the environment around you, let alone the demonic behavior of those that surround you. But the entity is maintaining an engineered environment, and it is shown through what is, first of all, the placement of this light source is not even logical. Second of all, or possible to naturally occur. And secondly, you're looking at what's impossible to even be the case when the light source is moving as you move, which is the light source, not the sun. And so that's letting you know, again, what is not sunlight inside of my apartment, nor is that the sun outside of my living room window at the same time. So while I'm at the same property, by the way, nowhere near 215 East C Street, the Ovid Family Community Library, where at the same time, the entity is maintaining a light source in its zenith over the top of my head in Ontario, California. And you're looking at the kidnapping that I was subject to on June 16, 2022, yesterday in 2022, while I am juxtaposing the crime scene while I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library, and I am inside of my apartment here in Los Angeles facing the hillside. I am inside of my leasing office 24 hours after capturing the evidence serving for what is again going to be many part of these terrorist organizations are going to federal prison. Because the men and women of the Ontario Police Department that are the same entity, that are the LAPD, Dominic Choi, the same entity, terrorist organizations going by hiding under the guise of legitimate law enforcement agencies. They're engaging in terrorism in the U.S. And it is unfortunately the breaking down of a so-called secret society in the U.S. That's entirely unconstitutional while it's literally the government that's doing it. But the entity is maintaining a light source while you're looking at it inside of my apartment. And I'm pointing out all the impossible light activity, everything you're going to remember while the entity is maintaining a light source over the top of my head while I'm inside of my apartment. That's the light source over the Ovid Family Community Library. So let's remember this first of all at 10:29 in the morning while you are looking at what's over my head here while I'm at my leasing office. And let's just go back because this is my door. All I have to do is step right out, and here it is right over the top of my head. And this is not seen through what is the living room window of my apartment. My apartment is down that direction, building 1806. This is building 1808 right here. And then building 1806 is between building 1804. So building 1808, my building 1806, and then 1804 is on the end. This is not seen through the living room window of building 1806 through my living room window. It's not hovering over the window, right under the windowsills, how you saw it yesterday at the same exact time. This is speaking to what is stalking with the fake sun. This is the location. This is what I'm pointing out as I'm inside of my apartment, inside of my living room, which is what you clearly see on the bottom as I compare it to the impossibility that that's the sun over the Ovid Family Community Library. And you also know that the entity is indeed engaged stalking with the fake sun. That's why it's not outside viewable through my living room window. It is over me at the leasing office, which is relevant to workplace terrorism, harassment, and sexual violence, while this entity seeks to obstruct justice, threatening your ability to maintain employment while it is group stalking you in the workplace. This is the light source that's over me while I'm inside of my living room yesterday as I remind you about the maintenance of this fake sun after 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, this is all speaking to what is an inevitable and very, very severe and very intense federal prosecution because of the criminal conduct that this government is engaging in through the people who are foolish enough to continuously engage in it. Let me be clear, the people of any other state are going to learn from what the people of the state are going to suffer in federal court. What you're looking at here is over my windowsill inside of my apartment, and at the same time, which is not going to be over my head as it is right now while I am standing outside of my leasing office, and you're witnessing the demonic while that light source that you saw beaming, it's still right here. It's still right here. This is the demon possessed that engage in that conduct, and it's right here, and this is why the entity isn't getting even more faint light activity. This is speaking to, let me be clear, the same entity that's creating documents and speaking to, referencing the people of the state. This is the stalker that's referencing its criminal co-conspirator, the stalker, when they're creating documents, trying to proscribe your speech when you are enforcing your rights. That same entity, that is indeed demon possessed, is engaging in what is rapid change, modification of the unnatural environment, which you already know because you saw it. You saw it right here, and I'm laughing not because it's funny, because it is so demonic, it's not even funny. All right, the entity is engaging in what is ongoing psychotic criminal activity. That's literally it. There is no sun that's over, first of all, the Ovid Family Community Library, nor visible through my living room window while I'm nowhere near my living room window. That's over there. And this is not hovering over the windowsill like you see it right here yesterday at the same time. While I come nowhere near the leasing office downstairs, I'm remaining inside of my apartment. This is what I'm looking at over my head through my living room window. This is not that. This is, like I've shown you, inside of my apartment, the wall that's obstructing my ability to see at this angle exactly what I told you is the case. And this is...
Okay, this incremental movement is literally an illusion to you, because where is it remaining at 1:32 p.m.? Right outside of my front door, which is exactly what...
Meaning, and what am I pointing out? The fact that this light source is still over my head at the same property, but it's not over me at the front door of my apartment, which is way down yonder. Okay, I can't see what's going on outside my living room window. Those palm trees, that sky space, that's over there. And while I'm over there, I'm facing this direction. While I'm over here, if that was the sun outside of my living room window, then this light source would be over there, and I'd be focused on that direction over there. That's what I'm pointing at. What I remind you about while I'm pointing out the light source that's remaining over me at the Ovid Family Community Library at the same time, while I'm inside of my apartment at the same apartment complex, and you can see the very, very obsessive group stalking that's evidenced by the impossibility, the maintenance of a light source that's not the sun. Not while I am inside of my apartment speaking to, oh, well, then that is the natural environment. If you're not able to establish what is movement as I move, that's exactly what this is. This is not seen hovering over my head through the windowsill, right above the windowsill, excuse me, while I'm inside of my living room. Okay, and that's speaking to, again, the group stalking behaviors of the people of the state, and it's occurring in what is the workplace. That workplace does not have any grounds to ever speak on when you're documenting the state, because that's not a company's business. That's the state that's engaging in, and the state shall under no circumstances threaten your life to that extent, under any circumstances, but to that extent, yeah, that level of malice, that requires time in federal prison. It's required. I mean, default, standard is time in federal prison for that. So this is what I'm documenting. What you saw on video yesterday.
That's exactly what you saw on video yesterday. So let's recall that really quick, because this is
and while I'm inside of my apartment and you're looking at the light source.
I'm sorry, this is, yesterday morning at 6:57.
And I'm pointing out the fact that it was outside of my window at 7 in the morning, and it's still over my living room window. Let me be clear. Let's look at the sky space. Let's compare it. This is outside of my living room window on the top. This is over my head where I'm not inside of my living room and I can't see what's going on through my living room window right now. This is the pattern of conduct. Okay, that light source is right there over the window. So you see that structure? That's the windowsill above my head. This is above my head, far from my living room window, far from my windowsill. From my windowsill, I can't see what's going on from this side because there's a wall that's obstructing my justice out from my living room window. It's on, obstructing my vision while I'm looking outside my living room window. That wall that blocks my ability to see what's going on over here. Okay, and this is not, it's in perfect alignment with me here. It's not in this direction such that the sun would be, if that's actually the sun that stays there from 6:55 until 1:32. That's what I captured. That's what I was pointing out in this video at the top. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct. Just to give you another example, because there is also no sun over the San Bernardino County, the Rancho Cucamonga Cucamonga Superior Court, which is exactly what I documented on June 23rd, 2022. The same day when you're looking at 909 and the entities flying over my head in a blue and white helicopter, that's the terrorist organization, the OPD, Ontario PD. They are awaiting federal prison. They are awaiting disbanding. They are awaiting their assignment for what is mental examinations. They are awaiting being listed as indeed terrorist organizations in the U.S. They're going to be treated like the domestic enemy that they are, okay? And doing so while that same entity engaged in kidnapping. I am subject to kidnapping on this day in 2022. It is absurd to even entertain the notion that you will escape anything less than time in federal prison while you facilitate and further engage in this criminal conduct to date in 2024, including in the workplace. And you're a whole demon-possessed psychopath. No, you're not avoiding prosecution for that. And the government shall not, under any circumstances, use the people of the state to do so. All right, it is currently 10:41 a.m. This is the light source that's not visible inside of my living room window. That's not going to create any light activity on my living room floor inside of my apartment under any circumstances, particularly when it's not even in alignment and in any position to be visible outside of my living room window. But you also know that that's not even sunlight because the entity is engaging what is light that's shooting horizontally through windows that's appearing both on ceilings, all over the walls, and this picture you're just seeing it magnified in size on the floor. You know that because the sun is supposedly over 215 EC Street in Ontario, California. This isn't even over through the living room window here in Los Angeles. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10:41 a.m.